Ba 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 Baran. Ba 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 Baran. Oh ba 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 Baran. Ba 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 Baran. Ba 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 Baran. You got me rocking and rolling, rocking. Hello everyone, this is JPL, and before we start the actual reaction video, I have to tell you about something. And this may take a while, so if you want to skip to the reaction video, then you can go to the timestamp right here. And so, yeah, I'll give you a few seconds to do it. Okay. So, if any of you have been following my channel, then you would probably know that about, let's just see, the 16th, Saturday the 16th of April, there was a lot of earthquakes, and the major one was a 7.8, and it destroyed a lot and killed a lot of people. And so, a few days ago, a friend of mine, well, my friend's father went down there to see how everything was going down there, and he wrote this thing in his he wrote a letter to the people here to tell us what was going on down there. And so I'm gonna read the letter to you. Okay. So, dear test first name, I got back from the coast this morning. Thank you for praying for our trip and for the people affected by the earthquake. The devastation is indeed terrible. We saw things that were extremely sad and other things that gave encouragement in the middle of the suffering. Since I'm getting a lot of questions, I thought I'd start by writing a summary of some of my observations. This got longer than I intended. If you feel that like it's too much to read, I understand. I went with a couple of guys from a non-governmental organization which builds houses for people with low resources. They bring young people from Canada as volunteers for the construction. Before the earthquake, they began organizing a trip to Hama to build about 20 new houses. The volunteers were scheduled to arrive at the beginning of next month. Their contact in Hama is the basic Catholic priest. Well, the local Catholic priest. The purpose of our trip was to deliver donations of basic supplies to the priest to help with the relief from the earthquake, to re-evaluate their construction plans, and to consider other ways to help from this point forward. We loaded their bus with maybe about 3 tons of supplies like water, rice, beans, canned meat, cereal, toilet paper, bedding, and other donations they had collected. Hama is about 125 miles directly west of Quito. Because of challenges in the mountains of roads of Ecuador, the trip is normally extended to 6 or 7 hours. To make a long story short, this time we spent 26 hours getting there and about 15 hours returning. Not all of our delays were directly related to the effects from the earthquake, but most of them were at least exasperated by them. Concerns about travel safety are heightened because of highway robberies that have occurred since the earthquake. Terrible people, man. Some people have been ambushing the trucks that are taking supplies for victims. Our vehicle was, unfortunately, extra visible, but police were very helpful for us. And during the most crucial major portions of our trip, they gave us a police escort. Bernales is one of our larger towns, small cities, close to the epicenter, and we had to pass through it to get to Hama. Pedernales suffered tremendously from looting and other crime during the first couple of days in the aftermath. But by the time we arrived, there was very strong police and military presence. Guys, this is just terrible human nature. People literally lost families and homes, and people are robbing them. It's terrible. You have to I want you all to pay close attention to what I'm saying here. It is very difficult to sort between rumors and facts. Most people in and around Pedernales are under the impression that the number of casualties in that city alone is about 2,000. I know that there's at least 400 confirmed or identified, but 2,000 is just the body numbers that they just found, which they have not yet identified. They say that bodies were being laid out for identification, and only the ones which are identified are added to the official numbers the government is reporting. During our short time in Pedernales, however, we didn't find any evidence to support this, so it might not be true. We had also heard that Hama had not yet received any help, but by the time we got there, we found the city had received emergency rescuers and donations of goods. It's likely it arrived at Hama later than Pedernales, but it is there now. As we are leaving, we received news that San Vicente had not yet received any help. I have no way of confirming or denying this. Hopefully, all towns and cities in the area are or will soon be receiving the help they need. Okay. The conditions of the buildings is terrible. My unexpert opinion is that 80% or more of the buildings are destroyed beyond repair, confirming the information I've seen elsewhere. The situation in Hama is at least as bad as Pedernales. It actually seemed that the percentage of flattened structures in Hama was worse than in Pedernales, probably due to lower standards of construction. It is clear that in most cases the extent of damage was increased by poor construction. Interestingly enough, some of the very poorest people are currently in the best situation. Those whose houses were built from caña, similar to bamboo, are the most likely to currently have a shelter. The smell of death in these towns is terrible. As one walks down the street, one passes different spots that are worse than others. That maybe half a block later, it gets a little better. The smell is probably an indication of where a body might have laid for a while and or hasn't even been discovered yet. In some cases, it could also be as simple as a refrigerator that has been without power for far too long and the chicken is spoiling. Every once in a while, I have a sensation that I am still smelling the odor that I left behind over a day ago. I saw a few minor injuries, but I didn't visit any area where people with more serious wounds were being cared for, so I don't have much to report in that way. It was encouraging to see many trucks making the trip from Quito and other places to deliver donations to these communities. Both Pedernales and Hama have distribution centers where people can receive what they need. We can be assured that at least many of the donations in Quito are indeed making their way to the intended destiny. Now, I want you to listen closely to this next section of things. Like, seriously. Because this is just stupid. There are, of course, some people who have been less affected by the earthquake, like those with houses made of caña who live out in the country. Unfortunately, some of them are taking advantage of the situation and seeking to accept as many donations as possible. Some of them are camping in makeshift shelters along the roads to appear as if they are needy. It's nearly impossible for outsiders to determine who truly needs help, and it is imperative that those taking donations work together closely with local people who know the difference. A lot of people who have lots of money pretend that they're poor in the streets here, and we just ignore everyone. My family just ignores everyone because most of the time they're lying and we can't tell the difference. And plus, they are able to work. That's the thing. After we delivered the donations we had taken, we spent a little time assessing the situation in Hama. I was prepared to stay a few days if there was a need I could fill, but there just didn't seem to be a clear one. Rescuers are there from other parts of Ecuador as well as other countries. They didn't seem overwhelmed by the amount of work to do, nor did they seem to be stressed or seeking help. The window of time for expecting to find survivors is coming to a close, and as an untrained person, there didn't seem to be anything I could add without potentially getting in the way. Hopefully donations will continue to arrive for as long as they are needed, and hopefully that they will start to be coordinated better soon. The better steps will be to restore the power and water infrastructure and cell phone communication. Before too long, the remaining buildings that are damaged need to be completely leveled to remove the hazards of unsafe structures. Some people are moving away from these communities to larger cities like Santo Domingo, Guayaquil, and Quito. I saw several trucks moving furniture and household belongings out. Some are probably making a temporary move, and others might be choosing to start all over. Those who are staying probably feel like the land they own is the only thing they have left and find it hard to abandon it. In every case, for those who stay and for those who leave, they need to help to restore their lives. The road between Hama and Pedernales was in pretty bad shape, but it was spotty. It seemed to especially be an issue wherever the original construction had involved filling to make it level, and at junctures with bridges or other transitions there were many places where the road had buckled, or some parts had risen or fallen. In one spot it had split apart into several strips. In most cases, slow and careful travel made it passable. A couple of the worst spots had already been prepared enough to get through. As we were leaving a few hours later, they had machinery spreading dirt over the spots that hadn't received any attention yet. The stories of death and survival abound. I met one woman in front of her 3-story concrete house. The first floor crumbled while she was on that level, and floors 2 and 3 remained intact and came down on top of her and her 2 sons. She pointed out to the spot where she crawled out from underneath what now looks like a 2-story house. It didn't look like there would have been room under there for her. Her aged father was crushed to death in this adjoining room. I also heard a story of a boy who was with his mom when the earthquake started. She had just enough time to push him out the door before the house came down on top of her. The boy is the only one from his family who survived. We saw dogs waiting faithfully by a pile of rubble that used to be the house of their owner. It was extremely sad to see their destruction and human suffering, but I don't regret going in the least. I'm very glad that I had the chance to take this trip and help in the small ways that I did. As things continue to develop and needs arise, there may be more ways for all of us to get involved. Scott Edgren. So, that's basically what's been happening down here for the most part. And so, I also have a thing, made by a friend of mine, and our school is now funding for people to give donations, and so it's called GoFundMe.com, and so far we have $5,000, and so far only 50 people have raised money. This is a serious situation, and people really need the money for the supplies. So, if you want to donate, there's a link in the description. And before I end this message, GoFundMe had a video, and in the video there was a verse. And I'm going to read this verse to you right now. In the same way, it's Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. So, I implore you to help in whatever you can. Send blankets, food, whatever you can. I don't think it'll be basically possible to do it. But if you are able to find a way to help in any way, that would be much appreciated. So, before I end this message, let's just pray. Dear God, I thank you for this day you have given us. And I pray to you today so that you may help the people down in the coast, that you may help them get through this trouble. Especially the people who lost their homes, their families, their friends, who basically lost everything they had. Take care of them. And also take care of the people who died. Take them in your house up there with you. And I pray that you get us through this terrible tragedy, and you protect us in the future. Amen. Well, let's get going with the reaction. Hello everyone, this is JPL back for another reaction video, and the links to everything I just said in the previous video are in the description below. Now, this reaction I should have been doing hours ago, but I had to run an errand and do it, so I couldn't get to it. And so today we'll be reacting to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 6, Episode 6, No Second Prances. Now, because I follow Questro Daily closely, Sethisto is really excited for this episode for some reason, which makes me think that Trixie might be in it. Okay, so let's just get started in 3, 2, 1, click.
First lesson of the day, we very carefully set the table without using magic, so that this plate represents your head, this spoon is your heart, and the knives are sharp. Always be careful with knives.
Wow.
That's the best part. You have to make a new friend.
Huh.
New friends? Hey, maybe I'll just force friendships by magically enslaving the entire population of Coneyville. Starlight? Kidding.
Yeah. I missed the old one. So how's your day been going? Mine's been going great. I just got 3 boxes of Bionicles from a friend of mine who's selling them. It's awesome.
Are you baking? Can I help?
Ah, I see her problem. She likes to jump right into it
In her defense,
without thinking.
I think I have just the pony for you, Starlight. Meet Big Man.
Ah. Oh, I see the problem.
Oh, that's too bad. I love a good conversation.
No.
Yeah, you did something. Whoa, what's happening? I'm talking so much.
Yes. You finally talked. Again. He's talking more lately.
You're adorable, but probably not what Twilight had in mind.
Aw. Poor Fluttershy. Bulk biceps. Owning a hair shop? Oh no, he's part of that salon.
This is just what I needed. Tell me about it. You ever have one of those days? For me, they're all one of those days. I'm gonna start coming here every time I
Guys,
visit Ponyville.
that's her.
I'm not from. She's great. Great. She's powerful. Powerful. She's hello, princess. Trixie.
Ah. Yes, I love it when characters return. It's the best thing ever.
This magic show is gonna be the
That's
greatest thing
great.
Ponyville's ever seen. The things I've done, I did them because I was jealous of Twilight. She's just the best at everything, and I wanted to beat her at something.
No duh.
Thanks.
I think Twilight really knows that.
I spend a lot of time on the road with my wagon, so it might be a tad...
That guy.
Maybe I can help. I'm pretty good at organizing stuff. I can introduce you to my friend here.
Spike?
Nice to meet you. No, you can come out now. You like music, right? DJ Pone 3'd me the perfect friend for tonight's incredibly important dinner with Celestia. You know, if you decide to make a last-minute change. So, back at your castle when you said I...
So not vinyl then?
I don't trust you.
I guess that makes sense. Now King's version is vinyl. DJ Pone 3.
Starlight, I'm just trying to look out.
But hey, at least she got a
I
cameo.
appreciate it, but you're wrong about Trixie. She's just like me. We have a real connection. That's kind of what I'm afraid of. Oh, what about her?
Speak, Derpy.
Oh, now he'd be perfect.
Cranky. Nice callbacks today. You're awesome.
I was thinking you could start the trick, and right before you got chewed up, use magic to save you, and make you appear in the black box. I guess that would work, but if you made one mistake, I'd be a goner. When it comes to magic,
That'd be bad.
make mistakes. We're gonna blow them away tonight.
That looks nice.
Oh, I can't. Tonight's this incredibly important dinner with Twilight. I wish I could say I was surprised. Well, lucky for Princess Twilight, I have my magic.
I like the sass and that head motion.
Have to go to the dinner. I completely understand. I just hope I find a way to survive the moonshot manticore mouth dive without my new assistant.
Such a manipulator, as always.
If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna check the kitchen. Maybe she got lost amongst the artichokes.
Celestia seems a bit more judgmental this episode.
Starlight? Has anyone seen Starlight Glimmer? And she chose me. Your pupil chose me. So I win. You win? That sounds like you just made friends with me to beat Twilight. Exactly.
Wow.
Wait! I mean, no! Looks like the great and powerful Trixie is back to a solo show. Trixie?
Oh.
Come one, come all! Come and see the pathetic and friendless Trixie's way to go, dum-dum. You really messed it up this time. Repentance tour.
There's been so many jokes about that.
Behold, your fears come true. A pony-eating manticore.
Manticores are back, yes!
We'll be performing the
Now we need a Hydra.
manticore mouth dive.
Prepare the die, Trixie. Let's see how this goes.
If you're out there and you still want to be friends, let's be great and powerful together. Please?
That's cute. Oh.
Behold, the patient powerful
Ah. Manticore bows.
You want. I was wrong. I'm sorry. And I have to hand it to you. I could never have pulled off a trick like that. Thank you,
Well,
Princess.
maybe she could. Oh, no, no, no. Blabba frabba jabba. Let's see, this episode. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's great because Trixie has returned, but it's weird because, I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch this multiple times to get a good opinion on it, but from what I can tell, I didn't really feel like there was much of a conflict. It was just more like, I feel like the conflict was just there just so they can have a conflict. And I think they should probably just have an episode where there's like no conflict at all, and it's just social. Like, have it be like a Quentin Tarantino style thing where they're just sitting, having a conversation together. Like, something like that would be really nice. You know? Yeah. But, this one brought some character development in Trixie, something which we've not really seen before, and I kind of like that, okay? What else? Celestia seems a bit off. She seems judgmental. It's like she doesn't want to be there. Makes sense. Twilight. No, Twilight was normal, actually. She was actually pretty normal. There was nothing off about her. So, yeah. That's basically all I have to say about this. So, yeah, I guess. Well, what else should I say? Do you want me to say something? I want to say something. I want to know what I want to say. And I don't know what I want to say about this episode. It needs Spike. Where is Spike in this episode? Is he off somewhere that we don't know? And Big Mac talked. That was a thing that happened. And Trixie's back, guys. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you all next time.